We shall now go on to our next speaker, Dr. Sujata Mohan, Associate Medical Director of Rajan Eye Care Hospital and a specialist in anterior segment surgeries. As the Director of Rotary Rajan Eye Bank, she has performed innumerable eye transplants. Again, she has had some of the most amazing sets of awards and accolades to her repute. The list is too big to enumerate now. And let's hear an interesting debate between her and Dr. Parul Deshpande. Dr. Sujata is going to talk about favoring DALC in post-eye drops. On to you, Dr. Sujata.
Thank you, Dr. Chitra, and thanks to the ARC committee for giving me this opportunity. So my topic is on DALC in acute eye drops. So will I do it? So I'm just going to show you a case report of a 25-year-old female who had an advanced keratoconus and underwent DALC 1 year prior to this case. And she was doing very well. So she was avoiding surgery for the other eye. And she had quite an advanced keratoconus in the left eye. Then she came one day with a sudden onset of pain, watering, and complete loss of vision. And you can see the ASOCT showing definite break in the descimits and clefts in the stroma, stromal edema as well. The diagnosis of acute eye drops was made. And we medically managed her for about 1 week to 10 days with topical steroids and hypertonic saline, oral dorzolamide, and lubricants. But she was very uncomfortable. She had a lot of irritation and pain. And so decided to do a little bit of surgical management and injected air into the anterior chamber. We waited for 3 days. There was no response because the air got absorbed within a day. And she continued to complain. So I decided to give a C3F8 non-expansile gas injection into the anterior chamber. And I combined it with a venting incision to remove the stromal fluid so that the edema will resolve quickly. So you can see there is definite reduction of edema on the first day post-op. And the anterior OCT also showed the closure of the cleft, the desciments cleft, and the edema is significantly reduced. However, the third post-op day, again, the edema started forming and increasing in size. And you can see the break in the desciments once more and the fluid clefts in the stroma. And by 1 week later, you can see that the whole eye drops has become much bigger than the day of presentation. And you can see very large fluid clefts and very large area of desciments membrane opening. So the corneal edema showed that had increased, as you can see from the first picture post-op. And the ASOCT also showed quite a large area of desciments break. And there was just a little bit of Bowman's membrane and epithelium remaining. So there was a possibility of impending perforation. So we decided to go ahead with a DALC. And this time, obviously, only a manual DALC can be done. So just to facilitate the dissection, we normally inject, particularly any patient we do a manual DALC. I like to inject air just so that the stromal emphysema will allow me to dissect more carefully. And this patient had about a 9 millimeter host definition done. And once stromal emphysema was created, a manual DALC was done with using a 15 blade to start with. Once there is a perforation in the DM, the very important thing that we have to remember is that if you're going to do the regular type of dissection and do a superficial keratectomy from one end to another, you're likely to go across to the area of perforation, which can actually extend. So it's important that you go all around and then come to the area of perforation as a last resort. And the superficial keratectomy is continued. You can see with the crescent knife as well. And we were able to dissect most of the stroma. And this is the last area where we are close to the perforation and it was removed using a Vanna scissors. And deep manual dissection was again continued using the crescent knife till as much of posterior stroma as possible, which was visible to us and what was possible to do without too much of air escape, we managed to do it. And once we came to this stage, I decided to stop and use the same 9 millimeter graft for suturing. And this is an intraoperative picture, and this is a post-operative 1 week post-op picture. You can see some amount to this area of perforation. But the patient really was very happy because her visual acuity improved from PL to 618. And you can see the stroma, there is some amount of irregularity in the stroma on either side. There's a residual stroma, but in the area of perforation, it is almost absent here. So the question is whether DALC should be considered as a first option. No, definitely not, because there are Most patients respond very well to C3F8 or even air injection. In this patient, we had a widening of the cleft with impending perforation, and somehow I was not very happy doing compression sutures at that stage. So I decided to do a manual DALC. The other option is you can do an ultra-thin DSEK and DMEC, and there are reports of this which have shown excellent response. Because basically what you're doing is you're covering the gap, the cleft which has been created. And then once the endothelium gets populated, then the edema resolves. So the advantage of doing DALC in the acute phase is correction of pathology by closure of the DM, and anatomical correction of the ectasia as well. And refractive correction is also better because there's an improved corneal topography. The patient is able to see better. And regaining the corneal structure and transparency in one go, and retention of the host desmids and endothelium. However, there can be some disadvantages, like operating on an inflamed eye, the risk of local anesthesia in these patients, need for expert surgical hands. You should be a good lamellar keratoplasty surgeon. And also the potential risk of perforation extending, so you need to have a good tissue in reserve. And the most importantly, there can be residual stroma which can interfere with the vision quality. So I would like to close my talk saying that whenever you find yourself in the side of majority, it's time to pause and reflect and think if you can do something differently. These are some of my references. And once again, I'd like to thank Chitra and the ARC for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sujata. Let's hear Dr. Parul before we go on to some discussion.